Welcome to Intro to C Programming. Today we are going to write a program that deals with C string functions. Here is our program. We are going to split up a string that is entered by the user into each of the tokens as separated by spaces. So if the user gives us some string that has 3 spaces in it, then we are going to split this up into 4 different strings. We are going to print out each token on a separate line, and then we are going to print the entire list in alphabetical order. So we're also going to get to deal with some 2-dimensional arrays as well as a 1-dimensional array, and tokenizing into a char star, a character pointer. So go ahead and open up Visual Studio, create a new project. I'm going to name mine C string functions. Make sure that it is a console application. And then once it comes up in the Solution Explorer, add a new .cpp file, and I will also name that cstringfunctions.cpp. Oh, for the project, make sure you select Application Settings and select an empty project for your console application. Okay, in the Solution Explorer, right-click on Source File, say Add New Item. Add a CPP file called cstringfunctions.cpp. Okay, if we want to do any kind of input or output, we have to include the standard io.h file, and any kind of string functions are in the cstring header file. Okay, here's our main function. We're going to create some string. Let's assume that the user is not going to give us a string that is longer than 30 characters. If you want to make that a little bit bigger, that's up to you, but I'm going to make mine 30. And then I'm going to create a string for my token. We're going to read this from a function, so we don't need to know necessarily how long that's going to be. That's going to be read into that from a function that we have. And then I'm going to need to create a 2-dimensional string. So I'll call it string arc, where we could have 30 strings of up to 30 characters inside of each string. So I'm going to make it 30, 30, 30 for my 2 numbers there. And the last one is my tokenizer is going to be a space. So that's just going to be an individual character, and I'm going to make that the space. Make sure you delimit it with the single quotes and not the double quotes, since this is a character, not a string. Okay, let's prompt the user. Please enter your string. And then we will read it in with the fgetS. We're going to read it into that string buffer, the str buffer that we have, up to 30 characters, and it's coming from the standard input, stdin. Okay, now we need to, we can start tokenizing our string. And the way that we do that is we say token equals string toke, and we pass in the string and what our delimiter is. Well, our delimiter is going to be our tokenizer, which is the space. And it looks like it's actually wanting a const char star, so instead of that, I'm going to just go ahead and take that out, and we will just pass in a string space instead. So it is delimited by the quotation mark, since it is looking for a char star. It wasn't looking for just a character. So I was mistaken on that one. Okay, so we read that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to continue reading as long as token does not equal null. So once the token is equal to null, that means that we have reached all of the tokens that we have in our string. This is how we tokenize on the same string again so that we can get subsequent tokens. We don't pass str back into it again. Otherwise, we're going to lose our pointer. It's going to start it back over from the beginning. So we just pass in null as the first parameter, followed by what do we want to tokenize on for the rest of the string, which in this case is still going to be the space. Now, in here, what we want to do is we want to get that first token. So that token, if it's not null, we want to take that and put it into our string array. I'm going to need to create some kind of a counter up here. Set it equal to 0 to start. And we're going to do a string copy. The destination is going to be str_arr sub I, and the source is going to be token. So we're going to copy it into that, and then let's increment our I, so that the next time through it's going to come back up and put it into the next element of string R. What this should do for us is give us all of our tokenized strings separated and broken apart into that str_arr variable. So what we'll do now is we'll create a print array function, and I'm going to pass in string arr and I, because that'll tell us how many strings that we have in there. So let's create our print array function. It's going to be a char string array. We'll do it this way with no underscore this time. 30, 30, and we have a length, a number of elements. So I'll call it number. And we'll just iterate over all of them, and we're going to print out each one of them from it's a %s, and we'll put a new line of string arr sub I. And that should print out all of them separated by a Newline character. And since we're going to be doing something else in a second, I'll put the dashes there so that we can see what's going to happen. Okay, let's go ahead and compile that up and run it. What this should do for us is prompt them to enter a string. They can enter whatever string that they want, and then it's going to break it up on spaces, and then print out each one of the strings that were delimited by the space on separate lines. So let's see, I am here now, and you see that it prints them all out separated on different lines. Hi, I am here now, and it's all separated out. So that looks pretty nice there. Seems to work out, and it separated all of the spaces out. So we now have all of those strings in an array. So now that we've printed them all out originally, why don't we call some function called sort array, and we'll pass them in again just like that with I, so we know how many there are, and then we'll print them out yet again. Okay, now this sort function, we've written this before in another lecture, so I'm not going to spend that much time going over this. I'm going to go ahead and write it out here for you again, though. I won't just copy and paste it from the previous lecture. We're going to use a bubble sort. We're going to need these three variables here, and you'll see why we need that third one, because the bubble sort actually only needs the two loop counters. And we have our temp variable. We're going to iterate I from 0 up to number. We iterate j from I plus 1 up to number. We're going to check if string comp of think about this for a second. strarr sub I and strarr sub j. So if this is greater than 0, that means that we need to swap. So then we're going to do it from k goes from 0 up to 30. Perform the swap. So temp gets strarr sub I sub k. strarr sub I sub k gets str sub j sub k, and then we can overwrite j sub k with temp. So I think that performs the sort. Let's go ahead and run our program again, build it up, run it, and hopefully this is going to give us I am here now. And then it puts it in sorted order. M here, hi, I now. So it seems like that works. We might be getting a Newline character here at the end because that's it's tokenizing on space, and there is a Newline character there. So we might be getting a Newline character. We could very easily just have an if statement so that we can get rid of that one. Looking down here, so the last token that's coming through, it looks like, is just a Newline character. So we could probably do something like if token, let's see, if string compare of token and the Newline character is equal to 0. That means that it's the same. Actually, we could probably do it as, if it's a not equal to 0, then we want to do all of this. Let's see if this is going to fix our problem with having that extra Newline character there at the end. Let's see. Hi, I am here and now. Oh, it looks like we still got that Newline character there. Okay, actually, I think what's going on here, let me take this back out because I don't think that we needed that. I think what's happening is that there's a Newline character at the end of our string. So what I could probably then do, so if there's a Newline character at the end of our last string, then I'm putting another Newline character here. It's putting us down onto a blank line then, since we were already down on the next line after the end of our string. So maybe just put an if statement in here to say if I does not equal number minus 1, then I'm going to print out a Newline character. And I'm going to try moving that down. Let's put it right here and then get rid of my Newline. Okay, let's give this a shot. Keep our fingers crossed. There we go. So that is what was happening. So now we just append the Newline character. Everything looks good. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck.